Hello and welcome to Wisdom Forge. The psychology of achievement, mastering mental dominance for success. The invisible force behind all great achievements. Every monumental success in human history has been fueled by an invisible psychological driver, the mastery of mental dominance. This foundational principle explains why individuals with similar education, resources, and opportunities achieve vastly different results. The mind operates as both the architect and executor of our reality, constructing invisible frameworks that either liberate or limit our potential. Modern cognitive science confirms that our thought patterns physically reshape brain structures through neuroplasticity, creating neural highways that determine automatic responses and decision-making processes. Understanding this mental architecture allows us to consciously redesign our cognitive landscape, transforming limiting thought habits into empowered success patterns that operate effortlessly in the background of daily life. The cognitive architecture of success. Our mental framework consists of multiple interacting systems: the conscious reasoning mind, the emotional guidance system, and the subconscious autopilot that controls approximately 95% of our behavior. These systems constantly communicate through complex biochemical signals, creating our perceived reality. High achievers develop what psychologists call integrated cognitive dominance, where all mental systems align toward unified objectives without internal conflict. This harmonious operation creates what appears as instinctual success behavior to outsiders, but is actually the result of meticulous mental programming. The process resembles how elite athletes develop muscle memory through deliberate practice, except applied to our thought patterns and emotional responses that govern life outcomes. The mental reprogramming protocol. Transforming one's mental operating system requires a systematic approach similar to upgrading computer software. Phase 1 involves conducting a comprehensive audit of current thought patterns, identifying limiting beliefs that create self-imposed barriers. Phase 2 focuses on installing new cognitive frameworks through targeted mental exercises that combine intellectual understanding with emotional reinforcement. Phase 3 involves environmental engineering to create external conditions that support the new mental programming. This structured methodology prevents the common pitfall of temporary motivation without lasting change, ensuring the new success mindset becomes permanently embedded at a subconscious level where it can operate automatically without constant conscious effort. The emotional alchemy technique. Emotions serve as the catalytic converter that transforms intellectual knowledge into actionable belief systems. This explains why many understand success principles intellectually but fail to implement them effectively. The emotional alchemy process involves consciously associating intense positive emotions with desired outcomes while dissolving negative emotional charges from past failures or limiting beliefs. Advanced practitioners use multi-sensory visualization techniques combined with physiological state management to create emotional imprints that the subconscious accepts as real experiences. This method proves particularly effective because the subconscious mind processes vivid emotional experiences as factual reality, gradually overriding old programming with new neural pathways aligned with one's aspirations. The cognitive immunity system. Just as the body develops biological immunity, the mind can cultivate psychological immunity against destructive thought patterns. This protective system involves 3 defense layers: perceptual filters that screen incoming information for growth opportunities rather than limitations, cognitive frameworks that reframe challenges as development opportunities, and behavioral protocols that automatically execute success habits under stress. Developing this mental immune system creates what psychologists call psychological resilience, allowing individuals to maintain peak performance states despite external circumstances. The immunity strengthens through controlled exposure to difficulties, similar to vaccine principles, where gradually increased challenges build confidence while preventing overwhelm. The neuro-linguistic dominance framework. Language constructs our mental reality far more profoundly than commonly understood. The neuro-linguistic dominance framework involves strategically engineering one's internal and external communication patterns to reinforce success mindsets. Internally, this means eliminating victim language, "I have to," and adopting creator language, I choose to. Externally, it involves modeling the speech patterns of high achievers, as linguistic analysis reveals distinct differences in how successful versus average individuals articulate thoughts. This linguistic reprogramming affects cognitive processing at a fundamental level, gradually reshaping how the brain interprets and responds to life's circumstances. Studies show that adopting empowered linguistic patterns can increase problem-solving abilities by up to 40% compared to disempowered speech habits. The mental environment optimization principle. Just as plants require specific environmental conditions to thrive, our minds require carefully designed psychological ecosystems for optimal performance. This principle involves conducting a full audit of one's mental inputs, the people, media, information sources, and physical spaces that constantly influence subconscious programming. High performers deliberately curate these inputs with the same precision that professional athletes monitor their nutrition and training environments. The optimization process follows the 30% rule, progressively replacing current influences with superior alternatives in manageable increments that prevent psychological resistance. Over time, this creates an environmental momentum effect where improved inputs naturally elevate thought patterns and behavioral outputs without constant conscious effort. The cognitive energy management system. Mental dominance requires sophisticated energy allocation strategies, as cognitive resources are finite yet often wasted on unproductive thought patterns. This system involves mapping one's mental energy expenditures throughout the day, identifying energy drains, such as worry or indecision, and reprogramming automatic responses to conserve psychological resources. Advanced techniques include designated worry periods to contain anxiety, decision matrices to reduce choice fatigue, and cognitive shutdown rituals to facilitate mental recovery. Research indicates that proper cognitive energy management can increase productive output by 60 to 80% while simultaneously reducing stress levels, creating the ideal mental state for high-level achievement and creativity. The Anti-Fragility Development Protocol. Beyond resilience lies anti-fragility, the ability to grow stronger from challenges, a hallmark of history's most impactful individuals. This protocol involves deliberately designing controlled challenges that stretch but don't break current capabilities, systematically expanding one's capacity for handling complexity and adversity. The methodology combines exposure therapy principles with progressive overload techniques borrowed from athletic training. Participants develop what psychologists call stress inoculation, where difficulties that would overwhelm others become energizing growth opportunities. The protocol includes specific mental frameworks for interpreting setbacks, emotional regulation techniques for maintaining peak states during adversity, and cognitive reframing tools that transform obstacles into strategic advantages. The metacognition advantage. Ordinary thinking focuses on what to think, while mastery involves understanding how we think. Metacognition, the ability to observe and optimize one's own thought processes, provides the ultimate leverage point for personal transformation. This advanced skill involves developing an internal observer mind that can detach from automatic thought patterns and consciously redirect cognitive processes. Practitioners learn to recognize cognitive distortions in real time, intercept limiting emotional responses before they escalate, and install new mental algorithms for improved decision-making. Clinical studies show that metacognitive training can improve problem-solving accuracy by 35% and emotional regulation by 50%, creating the foundation for consistent peak performance across life domains. The neural reprogramming timeline. Sustainable cognitive transformation follows predictable neurological timelines that many self-improvement approaches ignore. Phase 1, days 1 to 21, involves conscious disruption of old patterns, creating neural confusion that opens windows for change. Phase 2, days 22 to 66, focuses on intensive installation of new mental frameworks through repetition and emotional reinforcement. Phase 3, days 67 to 90, shifts to automation, where the new patterns begin operating without conscious effort. Understanding this timeline prevents discouragement when immediate results aren't apparent, as it typically takes 6 to 8 weeks before measurable behavioral changes manifest externally. The process mirrors physical fitness development. Invisible neurological changes precede visible results. The psychological capital portfolio. Modern success requires building diversified psychological assets similar to financial investments. The high-performance portfolio includes 4 asset classes: cognitive flexibility, adaptability to change, emotional liquidity, ability to process feelings productively, mental endurance, sustained focus capacity, and resilience. Bonds, recovery speed from setbacks. Like financial investing, optimal performance comes from regularly contributing to these assets while minimizing psychological liabilities, fixed mindset, fear of failure, scarcity thinking. Research in positive organizational psychology shows that individuals with strong psychological capital outperform others by 200 to 300% in achievement metrics while reporting higher life satisfaction, proving that mental assets ultimately determine material success. The Success Neurochemistry Framework. Our mental states produce specific neurochemical profiles that either facilitate or hinder achievement. High performers learn to consciously cultivate neurochemical environments conducive to success through behavioral triggers. Dopamine gets harnessed through progress tracking systems and small wins. Serotonin flows from social connection strategies and status-building activities. Oxytocin releases through trust-building behaviors and service to others. Endorphins generate through controlled challenge and physical activity. By understanding these biochemical drivers, individuals can engineer daily routines that naturally produce the mental states most favorable for creativity, productivity, and persuasive communication, creating biochemical momentum toward goals. The cognitive automation process. The final stage of mental mastery involves transitioning conscious skills to subconscious competence. This automation process follows 4 stages: unconscious incompetence, not knowing what you don't know; conscious incompetence, awareness of skill gaps; conscious competence, deliberate execution; and finally unconscious competence, effortless mastery. Strategic interventions at each stage accelerate the journey toward automatic high performance. The automation principle explains why early practice feels arduous while experts perform complex tasks effortlessly. The mental load shifts from energy-intensive conscious processing to efficient subconscious execution, freeing cognitive resources for higher-order thinking and creativity. Your personalized mental dominance blueprint. Implementing these principles requires customization based on individual psychology and goals. Begin by conducting a cognitive audit to identify your strongest existing mental assets and most limiting thought patterns. Select 2 high-leverage areas for initial focus, creating a 90-day implementation plan with specific daily mental exercises. Establish environmental supports and accountability systems to maintain consistency during the challenging early phases. Most importantly, track subtle neurological changes rather than just external results, celebrating expanded mental capacities as foundational victories. Remember that cognitive transformation follows the compound effect. Small daily improvements create staggering long-term results as new neural pathways strengthen and interconnect. Thank you, and let's stay connected. Thank you for joining me on this journey of discovery. If you found this video valuable, imagine what you'll learn next. Subscribe to Wisdom Forge and hit the bell icon so you never miss more thought-provoking content, practical wisdom for everyday life, the tools to unlock your full potential. Drop a comment below. I'd love to hear your biggest takeaway or what topics you'd like to see next. Until next time, keep growing, keep learning,